And how long does that take
Well,
Take a couple months.
Yeah, a
before
few
we
months.
do all our special studies.
And then the plan is for the stuff that you find to be returned here.
yeah, not the plan. It is. We've done
Yeah,
excavations. I used to be an employee here at the park, and I've done previous work here over the last couple decades, and everything is accessioned, cataloged according to Park Service standards, and it's all put in the repository here.
What if you were
Just
to
for
find
my
human
own.
bones, then what?
Well, we have.
there's a way to deal with those.
There's a way. We have the.
And what way is that?
Would it be stopped automatically, the project?
That becomes consultation. We are not the Park Service, and that's where the Park Service comes in. They, as the government representative, and the tribal groups as their own entity, then consult with how those things are handled. We stand back at that point. If something was identified, we would say, you two need to talk.
Yeah,
That's
the
contradictory
gentleman over
to-
there stated it would stop automatically.
Yeah, your Indian rep that's out here said that everything's stopped.
Oh, we do.
We would stop.
We do stop there.
We do
Yeah.
stop,
Yeah.
and then that's when we consult and say parties need to talk. We don't dig it out and keep going. We stop. If something's identified, we stop and bring the groups together.
So
consult.
Thomas, as a Park Service employee, do you know what happens if they find some human artifacts?
No, I don't.
You don't?
You probably have to contact public information.
So if they found something, would they call you right away to come up here and see what's going on? I mean, it seems like if something's going on here, you're going to be the first person they call.
I don't think I'd be the first person, but I'd be one of them. It surely would be a significant finding.
What would you do yourself if someone called and said, we found something yourself? What would you do?
Well, I'd probably come and see, notify her by note, notify my supervisor.
Right.
You know, and
Do you know what your supervisor would do?
The regulations say we have to notify the superintendent right away, and it's his responsibility to notify the elected tribal officials for the areas that we're working in.
So it's between the superintendent and elected tribal officials to determine what happens with any remains found here.
I'm sorry, I missed the first part of your
It's
question.
up to the superintendent and the elected tribal officials to determine what happens to any human remains that are found here.
They do that in consultation, yes.
Is that already set up, or is
Yes.
there? Right.
this guy
Does anyone here know what the protocol is already? Do they have it already? You said it was already set up. Can you tell us what it is?
We're working on a protocol right now with all of the tribes. I don't know what stage that's in myself, but if we don't have a specific protocol, it's something that would just be worked out in consultation. There isn't anything said in the regulations saying this is what a tribe has to do when something is found.
So right now, if you found some human remains, everything stops and it's up in the air as to what happens. Is it?
Well, then it goes
Am I
to
correct?
consultation.
It goes to consultation.
So it's not said right now what happens.
It's not said what would happen after people are notified, other than just consultation and people making a joint decision.
We were told that due to the acidity, there you go, thank you, of the soil, that any bone fragments or human remains would, I guess, dissolve in this environment.
On a strictly experience basis, coniferous trees and oak trees are very acidic.
Right.
And all organic materials tend to not preserve as well as stone materials, lithic materials.
Right.
So
Is that based on your experience or just based on lab?
No, on
findings
experience. I mean, the quantities of faunal material that you find in the Sierra is much less than in other areas.
And another question too, when you posted that notice on the NPS bulletin board, I noticed that we tried to get the same information regarding these areas through FOIA requests. How come those were denied?
That's something you'd have to talk to the superintendent about. It's not a question that we can answer.
I have a question for the archaeologist. Being how this is acidic soil, if you found some human remains, a bone fragment or a tooth or something, what's the oldest do you think it could be in order to still survive?
Couldn't answer that. I mean, there could be a large rock laying over something that helped. The soils here, because of the granitic nature, they leach very quickly, and so that's why Other places might have coniferous trees as well, but because the soils are not as porous, it doesn't leach as quickly, and that's just tends to happen. It's exaggerated here because of.
So if you found a little piece of bone, just your guesstimate right there, how old would you think it would be? That person was laid in that ground.
We wouldn't. That's part of where we, after the lab work, this column sample, we can see how much mixing there would be. You know, because at any depth, if the deposit has been disturbed, we can see that, and so that's part of what the analysis we do and say there is a very intact deposit here throughout the area, perhaps because it's been not had trenches put through it or something that it isn't mixed up, or utilities or animals.